Hey, it's Craig Syracuse, and welcome to another episode of Walk in Faith, the show where we go beyond the image and we discover who our guests really are. You might know them from TV, the big screen, or even the world of sports, but do we really know who they are as a person? Do we know what motivates them? Do we know what inspires them? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Joining me today are the stars of Creed 2, as well as its director, Stephen Caple Jr.
If we don't do what we love, then we wouldn't exist.
It's time, kid.
It's like nothing really matters to him right now, including me.
You gotta think real hard about this. You got people that need you now.
I'm taking the fight.
Victor Drago, son of Ivan Drago, who infamously killed Apollo Creed, appeared today to issue a challenge to Adonis Creed.
Don't do this.
I ain't got a choice.
That's the same thing your father said, and he died right here in my hands.
This here is all about my wife, my kids, the life that I live. Through the night, I was his. It was right what I did. My ups and downs, my slips, my falls, my trials and tribulations, my heart, my balls.
This won't be the end of me. Or you. It can't be, because we're a team.
And later in the show, we'll revisit Shawn Porter, a professional boxer with a winning story. Stay tuned, walk with us. Michael, fantastic job.
Thank you.
Can you walk me through a little bit of the preparation, from the emotional preparation to some of the training?
The emotional prep is kind of like baked in with just like, creating this, developing a script and developing a movie. You kind of develop it as you're working on it. And as far as the physical preparation, same type of thing, just diet, crazy diet, working out, 2, 3 times, 3, 4 times a day, 6 days a week. It was a rigorous physical transformation, so we had to work really hard at it.
And after each project, do you sit and reflect and say, this is what I learned from working on Creed 2 or this project? Was there anything you walked away with?
I don't do that.
Really?
Maybe I should, but I don't do that. It's usually, I'm usually on to the next thing. After I finish wrapping a movie, it's like, okay, what's next?
Oh, wow. And then I'm assuming you saw Rocky IV. There was that iconic moment at the end when Rocky says, if I can change, we can all change, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that really inspired me. I think it really inspired the world. What does that line mean to you? And do you think films like Creed can unite us, especially in these times where we're so divided?
Yeah, I think that movies like this, the power of cinema really comes into play. And the fact that, Rocky at the time, I want to say he almost helped end the Cold War, with that whole situation was pretty incredible. But I feel, I feel that line is very inspiring, man. It's and hopefully, people could take away some moments from Creed and Creed 2 that gives them that same type of feeling of being able to accomplish anything and really dig deep into yourselves and look at yourself in the mirror.
And then one of the main characters had a disability, and it promotes that, even if you have a disability or if you're living in fear, you should still go after your dreams.
Oh, 1,000%. I think that was so important. Bianca, played by Tessa Thompson, she's such an incredible actress, and very, very talented. So to be able to have a character like that, like you said, with a disability, that's able to, not use that as a handicap or a crutch whatsoever, but makes her who she is and gives her that extra drive to go out and achieve her dreams is truly something special.
I agree. And the last scene after the fights, I don't want to give it away. I think that was the most powerful scenes in the film. What does that do for you personally? What was that scene for you?
Without giving it away?
Without giving it away.
Yes,
Emotionally, what was that?
No, I think it was the first time you ever seen that place. I don't think we've ever seen that. We've always known that it was emotional.
You did a great job, man. You
Thank
did.
you, man.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
All
it.
good,
God bless,
man.
brother.
All good, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. I mean, it's a pleasure to sit with you. I mean, I've been a fan ever since Rocky IV.
Thank you.
Florian, tell me, how did this opportunity come about? I mean, this is an iconic franchise.
Yes. So you want to know how I did get the role?
Yeah.
Well, the offer came up to me that they, were looking for a big, tall Eastern European guy, and then I started to audition for the role, and auditioning, the audition tapes kept back and forth until they told me they liked what they see, and Sly wanted to do a Skype Live auditioning with me. So I had to prepare 2 other scenes, and then had the Skype auditioning with Sly, and he liked what he saw. They flew me to LA, where I met Dolph the first time, and Stephen Capel, the director. And after 4 days of working with him, rehearsing with him through all kind of different scenes, he was like, okay, this is our guy. This is our guy.
This is the guy.
Yeah.
And after each project, do you sit and reflect and say, why did I get this opportunity? What did I learn from this?
Yeah, for sure. You can't help it, especially if it's.
Yep.
If I got to if I got to revisit a guy I played 35 years ago when I was at 27 years old, and it was my first film, and it was my breakout picture, and now I'm doing it again 33 years later, and it's almost like the way I've aged, the character's aged in many ways, and it's almost like with Stallone. He, like I said, is my best friend. Rocky Balboa. His life is like Rocky's life, and somehow my life is kind of Ivan Drago, and me and Stallone staring each other down in the ring again is like, it's a little bit of a surreal thing when I'm up there going, what the hell, what happened? 30 years later. And the whole thing is wonderful, and it's fantastic. People seem to like the movie, but it is surreal for me a little bit.
And in Rocky IV, there's an iconic line where he says at the end, if I can change, you could change, we can all change. And that line, to me, really inspired me. I think it really inspired the world. What did that line mean to you? And do you think films like Creed could sort of unite us and bring us all together?
For sure. Oh, yeah. I think so. All we can do is put that energy out there. You don't know how it's going to affect the world. You can't really tell, but all you can do is try to help, to put that kind of positive message out there. And you're right, that last line is kind of what, it's almost could be the inspiration for this story, because that's what does happen. It doesn't happen that easy. Everything else, like in everything else in life, it takes a while. And it's just at the end of this story that things come together and people do change. And of course, the guy who you think never is going to change is Ivan Drago, of everybody. And, he does change too, and I think that's what's beautiful about it.
Yeah, and that last scene where it's like your ex-wife walks out. Like, what happened to you? What happened to your character in that moment?
Well, at that moment, I realized that nobody cares. It's just me. I can't trust anybody, and it's just me and my kid, and my kid's getting hurt, and I realized I really love him. That's all that matters. I don't care about winning anymore. And I never thought I would think that, because Drago is the last guy who's going to give up and throw in the towel, ever, of anybody. So when I saw that line in the script, I was like, damn, who came up with that? That's brilliant, So, yeah, it's beautiful.
Really agree with you here. Yeah.
Thanks.
You guys did a great job, man.
Thanks.
God bless. Thank you very much.
Buddy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mad, you gotta let it come up. Yeah. And then see it. You know what I mean? So you hear that, get mad. And it's like, and then I'll tell Heathcote to make sure he captures what's going with your movement.
Thank you so much for this film. Amazing. You got a classic. I don't want to give away too much of the film, but the last 5 minutes, I mean, that was such a powerful, part of the film. What does that mean for you personally when you were directing that scene?
No, it means a lot. 5 minutes in which section? I'm sorry.
Right towards the end.
Towards the end, after a fight?
Yes.
Okay.
It's powerful.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to sum everything up. And then obviously there's the callback to specific characters that, we haven't seen in a bit. And it's what the movie was about. I think, there's a part of the film when you watch it, you're like, it can stop at the fight, and you're good. But then the movie was so much more than just what's happening in the ring, that I felt like that ending and where Creed is at in his life, that felt like the perfect, torch passed and like what it meant about family and redemption with last names and just hope all in general, you know. And so it really just connected it all. And I just, you know, writing it, I wrote it to that song, obviously, because it's a classic Rocky theme. And I felt like I remember writing it with Joel, and we were like just getting emotional, just reading it off the page. And then to have it happen on set was magical, you know what I mean? Because everybody knew what it was.
It was an amazing
You know?
scene, yeah.
Oh, thank
Now,
you.
after each project, like, do you sit and reflect and say, like, you know, why did God give me this opportunity, or what did I learn from this?
Completely. I mean, even before, I don't even know if it's after, man. Like I said, like taking on this project was a huge blessing. So I just wanted to make sure it was the right move for me. You know what I mean? When you do a project like this and it takes up so much time, you're putting your life aside to say, I'm about to do this piece of work. And so I think one thing for me when I'm approaching projects is, why am I making a project? You know, if it's just going to be a commercial piece about these two dudes sweaty, oiled up in boxing, I don't necessarily want to do it. But when you talk to the team and they're all talking about character stuff and stuff that, you know, again, shows hope, determination, and inspire people, that brings me to a project. My first feature was like that as well. You know, I went back home, shot it. It was about kids that I felt like looked like me, that were in my neighborhood, that were struggling. And so I don't necessarily take too much time during the process because I'm just kind of working and in my zone. But afterwards, I think it's starting to hit now.
Yeah.
After the film is, because we just finished 2 weeks ago. So I think now is the moment where I'm like starting to realize, like, wow,
Right.
everything's getting put
And you
together.
had that, I read an interview you said about failure, and you said it's God's way right now, and just grow from that experience.
Yeah, all the time.
Amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about just failing big just a little bit ago, and you have to, man. You have to kind of chase it, you know, and know
How do you stay
that
grounded
objective.
though during those times when things aren't going the way that you wanted, or as quickly as we want?
Yeah, no, I take times by myself. I talk, you know, a lot to myself and meditate. And obviously definitely prayer in that mix. And so it's huge for me. I have a wife that definitely helps me during the process too. You know, she came out here. She does wardrobe, by the way, but she didn't do it for this film because she knew that it was going to be so, like, you know, rigorous and hard work and tough. And so she kind of just backed me on the moral support side. And I don't know, that was a lot. It's always helped to have family around supporting you as well. So that keeps you grounded. And they're here now, you know, so it's like don't kind of fall into the hype. Just stay focused.
That's right. You did a great job, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why do it again? What do you have to prove?
It's not about that. You wouldn't be any good to anybody if you didn't do what you love. You wouldn't be able to breathe, right? Well, I wouldn't be any good to anybody if I don't handle this the right way. But I need you. I'll beat him.
You better.
So thank you so much. Fantastic job in the film. Can you
Thank
tell
you.
me a little bit about the emotional preparation and how you prepare for this role, especially during the hospital scene?
Oh, yeah. You know, actually, the way in for me with Bianca is always the music, because that's sort of, to me, if I can figure out that, it's the North Star, and it's also the thing that's most daunting, I think, about playing the character, because it's a space that's still new for me and you know, not my focus. So it kind of begins there. So that was, you know, most of the preparation was around the music. And then this time around, you know, I obviously did so much work the first time in figuring out what she sounds like, what she moves like, her backstory and all that stuff. So this time around, I kind of could just show up. And Mike and I have such an easy rapport, and we're good friends, and we've continued to remain friends in the years that have passed since we made the first film. So we really kind of picked up right where we left off. And Stephen Cable Jr. is amazing, and he was so perfect and just sort of fit right in. So that was easy. The stuff in the hospital and all of the stuff around the baby, it's sort of in a weird way life imitating art. Like, you can't prepare to be a parent. I couldn't have prepared for any of those moments. I think as soon as they sort of handed me the you know, that baby that was gonna be mine, I don't know, something in me just went like, I'm not a mom, but every part of me, any part of me that's maternal instantly just leapt out. And I
Especially
think,
through the glass, like through the
Yeah.
glass, that tear, it was just.
yeah, and then also just getting to watch Mike, and he's so honest and so emotional in that moment. So
It was wonderful.
Yeah,
and
thank
I'm
you.
assuming you saw Rocky IV, right? And,
yes, of course.
So in that film, there's that iconic moment at the end where Rocky says, if I can change, you can
Yeah.
change. What does that line mean to you? And do you think films like Creed has the ability to unite us?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I also think that, like, I hope that movies in some small way have the ability to change us, to change our minds. I certainly think the idea of, sitting in a dimly lit theater and following someone's journey, and in some cases someone that doesn't look like you, is really powerful. And certainly in this film, to take a franchise that's so beloved over 40 years and then place Mike at the center of it suddenly, to introduce it to a whole new audience, to allow there to be representation, is incredible.
I agree. You did a great job. Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It was so
you.
nice to meet you too.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be right back after this with Sean Porter.
Today we are at St. John's University. We will be speaking to about 900 elementary and middle school students who will be moving into high school. And obviously that's the most pivotal time of your life where you figure out who you're going to be and where you're going to go.
So now what organization is this today?
I think we're with Gear Up. Gear Up is a part of the St. John's University, gaining early awareness and readiness for undergraduate programs.
So it's also team first.
Yeah, and then also Team First. Team First, basically what they do is they have about 1,500 kids that are involved with that program, and they reach out to mostly minority kids who are in poverty communities, and just try to, give them an outlet. So and that's what I'm here today, is just to try to encourage and push forward what First Up does.
Have you, when you were a kid, do you remember anyone coming to your school or speaking to you in a church that had sort of a motivational or a moment where it was like, oh wow, this really got to me?
I know I've had that before, but I can't really think of one right offhand. I know one thing we actually used to do when my dad had a gym. I was 13, 14 years old. We would every Friday have a meeting, a meeting just discussing life and coming up with these different scenarios and how to handle them. That way we could become better men. So we've done things like this forever.
Do you remember anyone that you met, say, during those events, or anyone that you feel like you really inspired or touched, or had like someone that maybe approached you and said, that really meant a lot to me?
Myself?
Yeah, that you've met.
I've gone and spoken to detention homes in Akron, Ohio. I've had a lot of those kids get out of the detention home and reach out to me on Facebook mostly, letting me know that they're doing well and that I inspired them and helped them make it through those hard times, and they're changing, and then they know that it's because of me. So that's very humbling, and it just lets me know that I'm doing my job.
Do you hope, or are those the intentions for today? Do you hope to reach, say, at least one person?
Yes. I met a few of the kids yesterday at the gym. There were about 20 to 30 kids that came to the gym, and I was able to get some one-on-ones with a few of those kids. Some of them, none of them are in trouble, but some of them, little fights here and there. And when you have that opportunity to reach out and say something, someone took a photo, and I didn't even know they were taking a picture, but I was proud of that picture because it shows me speaking to those kids and doing what God wants me to do. And so I was proud of myself to not only be able to, perform and spar and stuff like that in front of those kids, and then answer the question that they were asking me, but also be able to touch some of them and hopefully affect them in a positive way.
And the thing about you too, it's like it's not that you're just performing. Like when you see the kids, they're gonna turn on that recorder.
Yeah.
It's really you. This is what you live, and this is who you are as a person.
This is who I am as a person. I think that really helps. I told you that before we started this, that I have about 2 different ways I want to try to approach this. I don't know which way I'm going to approach it yet. I'll have to fill it out, and then my heart will lead me, and the rest will follow. So it's very easy for me to get into whatever kind of mode I have to be in to really reach these kids. So I'm pretty confident that we'll do some good things today.
So do you say a prayer? Is there anything that you ask God before these sort of engagements?
I just started doing that. I recently did two broadcasts on for boxing on TV, and after I didn't do it for the first one. The first one actually I prayed in my room just that everything would go well, and then the second one I was right there right before we went on air. I said a quick prayer to myself, and that's something that I want to do. I want to pray that God leads me, and I don't say the things that I want to say, but He actually works through me, and I don't say the things that I want to say, but He actually works through me, and that's what I pray for when I go into a fight. So I know that He does that in a fight. He'll definitely do that right here on the podium for me.
And now the last question is, now you're leaving today to go where? Tell me your plan now.
We've been in New York for a week. We've gotten in some pretty good training, as well as being able to have some fun with the media and come here and do this today. This is basically the icing on the cake for us. This is that moment where we get to culminate everything we've done this week and reach these kids, which is, my dad knows, is my #1 goal, not just to be a champion, but to make these kids champions, So I'm gonna speak on that today. After that, we'll be headed back to Las Vegas. We'll continue training, and we'll be building up.
Thank you as always. God bless. Good
Thank you very much.
Being an athlete, I mean, like I was mentioning earlier, like you don't really see a lot of athletes. First thing they do, especially you, is mention their faith and talk about how if it wasn't for God, like before thanking anyone, they go, "I want to thank God." Like, and I find that I think that's really it's amazing to me. And do you see that a lot in sports?
It's important to me to do that. I think that that's a big reason why I do what I do. Is not just to win and and all that kind of stuff, but to actually glorify God and my Creator, and let everyone know that hey, if you believe too, good things could happen to you as well. Blessings are out here for you. You just have to have faith and go get them. I see a number of other athletes do it. Actually, the point guard for Golden State Warriors, he just did a tweet about how just because you pray doesn't mean you're gonna win. It just means that that's what you have to do because you are a Christian. So I appreciated seeing that, and I hold that with me now.
Let's say you're fighting an opponent that's Catholic, Christian, or he believes in some sort of high God, and you're both praying for the same thing. What do you think God does? If you're praying to win, and he's praying to win, how do you think God answers that prayer?
God has a plan for us all. I understand that. I understand there's a reason why we win and we lose. I lost before, and I think I grew in my faith from losing. I actually had a draw, and I know I grew a lot from that draw because I knew that there were certain things that I had to rely on. I had to rely on God after not receiving the victory. I had to rely on God and pray more and know that cherish every moment in and out of the ring, and blessings will still be there for me.
Now, during training or before training, do you see yourself praying more, or is it constant, or is there a certain time where you feel like I need to really pray more? When do you see yourself?
It always comes on more and more the more I go through camp, and as I approach the end of camp into the fight, it comes on a lot more. And honestly, after the fight, I'm always praying that I can remain at that level of faith. But oh yeah, I've started some new rituals of my own. I do track workouts twice a week. Before those track workouts begin, I jog down about 50 meters. I say a prayer. I pray for the day, pray for the workout, and pray that I stay healthy through the workout. And then I just jog on back and begin to work. My dad and I, we pray every time before we spar, and sometimes we pray afterwards. If there's a hard day, there's been days that have been really hard, and I say, hey man, let's pray real quick.
What do you pray for?
Depends. We always pray for safety. We always pray that we learn and we have a good day. Pretty much that's about it. I think that for me, that covers it all. And my dad actually leads the prayer every time before we fight, before we train as well. He leads the prayer. I think that keeps us strong together. I like that about him. He doesn't say, hey, pray real quick or anything like that. He knows that that's his job in that moment, is to really help us come together on a spiritual level, and that's what he does. And he always prays that we have a good day, that we learn, and that both myself and my sparring partners are safe.
Did you ever pray for opponents?
Oh yeah, have to. I have to pray for the opponent. I pray all the way around because as much as I could hurt them, they could hurt me. So I pray for their health as well, in and out of the ring. So we pray before we fight and after we fight. That's important. We pray that that we get victory, but in the chance that we don't get victory, I understand that I can't take that on God.
What do you think the ultimate goal is for God? What do you think? What's your ultimate plan? What does God have in store for you?
I don't know. I spoke to you earlier about how the stage is getting bigger, and the bigger the stage gets, it feels to me like God's stage gets bigger. That I get more interviews about my faith. That people are more interested in my spiritual setting and how I want to grow and what I believe in and things of that nature. So I feel like as high as I go is as high as I can lift him up, which is all I want to do.
And I mean, when you're on stage and when you're able to speak about your faith, what do you think the result is? Like, do you picture like this kid at home or this young lady at home? Like, what do you think? Do you feel like you're reaching someone?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I did an interview one time, and a few of my church brothers, I saw it, and they started texting me about it. And as soon as they text me, I said, "Oh no, I didn't mention God." And I was, I felt kind of down about myself. I said, "Oh man, I didn't even mention God." And they text me back to me like, "Don't worry about it. You were shining. You could see God in you, even though you didn't say it." So, as long as that little kid, or that little boy, that little girl, or that young man, or whoever's watching me, as long as they know that it's not just me, but it's also God helping and orchestrating and leading me, then I feel like my job is being done.
Would you like to see more prayer in sports, or just?
Of course I would. Yeah, of course I would. I love watching the NFL, and the NFL is, I don't know if you've seen this, but the teams, the Browns, I went to a Browns game, and it was cool to see the guys come out on the field. As they came out on one side, they jogged all the way to the goal line to the other side, and they all kneeled down. It wasn't all the entire team, but it was a lot of the players. They knelt down and they prayed for a little bit or whatever, and then they got up and they jogged to the sidelines. I just thought that was awesome. I feel like that's something that I saw growing up, and it's what has kind of led me to do what I do, and I think that's what we're supposed to do as athletes. We're not just athletes to entertain, but we're also here to spread the word and inspire. I mean, I wear this cross. I'm not a flashy guy at all, but people notice this cross.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so on your chest.
Yeah, I have a buddy says, "Man, this guy's wearing a whole lot of gold, and all you have on is what matters, the cross." I say, "Yeah, and that's all you see me ever see me wearing, because this means more to me than anything else."
I appreciate it. Thank you for your honesty, and I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
Do you have any positive words to say to your fans?
God bless everybody out there. Love you. Love you for all your support, and we'll see you soon.
Like always, thank you for walking with us. Stay tuned till next week, and always remember, you have the ability to inspire and evangelize through your words and actions. Thank you.
Tell me when.
Still the frame, Mike.
I feel happy.
Still the frame. Still the frame. Tessa Thompson.
We love you, Tessa.
Oh wait, that recording. Cut that.